Is that in the picture? Like,
No.
Shpa, what are we going to do with a mix? Well, somehow.
There you go.
You know that's going to be all over
Just
anyway.
lick it off.
Yeah.
All
the new guys.
A friend last night said to me, I see you get up early because of the
But it
time.
was no good.
Huh?
It didn't have the
Stop
same
me in the
vibe.
thumbnail.
Okay, but just
But you're a Vasikin guy. All the years.
halaf.
All right.
Trying to get some sleep.
Milk, huh?
No, I can't do
Sleep is a
no
big
more.
priority.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, let's go back. We have to finish off yesterday's sugya. We have this from yesterday.
You feel it? There's
A lot of noise, I feel.
Back,
A lot
back.
of noise.
All right. This is yesterday. Oh, Judah, Shalom Aleichem. I saw you were around. You were here for Noam every yeah. Baruch Hashem. But my first day back. Yeah,
Was he
show
here?
me. This is yesterday's chart. This is today's. Same exact thing.
He's back. There's
no mistakes
on this
Yay.
Gary spent 3 hours yesterday trying to fix the computer, and he fixed it.
Yeah, what was wrong?
We had to push, we had to reset the computer. A little small hole in the back. We went to a few stores. Kids, we figured it out. Anyways,
Press the on button, you mean?
no, there's a little tiny hole, like a little reset pin, a little pin, and it started working right
A
away.
little.
Anyways, we were discussing yesterday real quick. We have to summarize. We have to finish the sugya. It goes into today's daf. The middle case is talking about. Oh, mamas. Oh, Pischoi shel machat. Beautiful. Okay.
And then you do tsuga.
Okay, good. We have an animal that somebody was magdish as a carbon, and then it got a mum. And before you redeemed it, you're supposed to redeem such an animal. You can't do anything. You can't put it on the mizbeach, so you have to redeem it. Before you redeemed it, she got pregnant. Then they redeemed it, and then she gave birth. That's case number 2. It's the middle case. What's the halacha? Asur. Asur is not kodesh like the first halacha. What's asur? Machloikis. Rav Huna says you put it in a kippah, you lock it up, it dies. Then we had the schap from Chanina. You don't have to kill it. You don't have to be mean. When the mother is still pregnant, Rav Huna says you can't be paida. Why can't you be paida? You could only redeem something that's kadosh. Since this offspring, this fetus has no gedusha, because the mother is already the mother is already nivda, it has no gedusha, so you can't redeem something that has no gedusha. You have to be kadosh in order to redeem. Says Rav Chanina, have a great idea. Add gedusha to it. Say that the fetus is also a carbon. Okay? That's yesterday. Omar Mar. And if you remember, what kind of carbon you have to make the fetus? Exactly the same carbon as the mother. You can't change the carbon. If the mother is designated as a shlamim, so you say, I want the fetus also to be a shlamim. Fetus, by the way, Mendy, is ubar. I see you looking at me, these weird words, these English words. Okay, so uber, you say, okay, the uber is also going to be shlamim. Omar Mak. Ein nivdim tmimim. In this case, that the animal was kaddish, and only later on it became a balmum. Ein nivdim tmimim. So the offspring, the vladois, you cannot redeem them when they're without a mum. You have to wait until they're a mum. That's basically what we try to do. There's a long bryce at 12 lines, and the final line that we said was ein matfisin l'chol zevach shirtza. You cannot make it any carbon you want. The baby has to be the same as the mother. So if the mother was a shlamim, the baby's also a shlamim. Says the Gemara, tmimim hu deloy miparki. Okay, so he's saying that you have to wait until it has a mum. You could redeem it if they are a balmum. The second halacha is you have to make sure that you make the baby the same carbon as the mother. But you could make the offspring you can make the offspring the same carbon as the mother. The mother is a shlamim, the offspring is also shlamim. So what's the case? The case is just explaining exactly what we said. That you take the mother who's pregnant and you say I'm adding Gedusha to the unborn fetus, and therefore when it is born later on, I could be hoided. Because without adding this Gedusha, I can't redeem it. It's too weak to redeem. I have to add Gedusha to it while she's pregnant. Then it's Chodesh, with the same carbon as she is. I say, you have a mother who's a shlamim. Automatically the fetus becomes a shlamim. But the Gemara says that's not enough Gedusha on the fetus. So I have to add. By the way, I'm making the baby also shlamim. That adds Gedusha, then I could redeem her.
Before the baby's born.
Before the baby's born. When the baby's born, then I redeem her. Name it to have it to you to the Ravuna. What does Ravuna say? I can't do this. I have to put it in a keep. I have to lock her up and let her die, let her starve to death. And we said it's a terrible thing. Over here it says in Mefurish, L'chayr, according to our brayso that we learned yesterday, it seems like Rav Chanina is right. There's a way out of it. Zog the Gemara, Omar loch Ravuna, hu adin dafilu balimumim ein nivdim. So Ravuna says, your typical teretz, that don't be medayik the way we're medayik, that, if it's not a mom, if it is bal mom, hu adin dafilu balimumim ein nivdim. Even if it has a mom, you cannot redeem it, and you can't make a trick. You can't do Rav Chanina's trick to add kedusha to it. But I did the ton of ratio nivdim tmimim. The first part of the brayso. What's the first part of the brayso? If he didn't, there's no kedusha chal on this animal. There's no kedusha like why? Because it already had a mum. Somebody took an animal that has a mum, and you try to make it a carbon. That doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, there's no kedusha guf. And if there's no kedusha guf, you can redeem it, no problem. So because it says in the Reisha that it's not a problem, you can redeem it. So use the same lashon. It's not dafka, says Rabban. Fine. New sugya.
It's only money.
That case, as long as there's no. It's very interesting. If you wouldn't come to today's share and you just learn the art scroll, you'd probably skip over this very important detail that I'm about to explain here. It says, the Gemara brings these three words, V'ashechatam b'chutz patur. Where do we have this yesterday? V'ashechatam b'chutz patur. If you look at Tesvavam Beis, the last line, last line, Chalale shel dover the ratio. What do I see from the klal of the ratio? La'asui shechatam b'chutz the patur. That's the only time we mentioned in the brayso yesterday the word shechatam b'chutz. Shechita b'chutz. Yet Rashi says, no. If you look at a little closer at the words, it says v'hashoichatam. If you look at the words on the bottom of the page, it says shoichatam b'chutz. Okay, so I wouldn't say it's such a big difference. Rashi says v'hashoichatam b'chutz. He had a different girsa. It actually says Rashi, safer the brayso. Klali shel davar the ratio. Look at the line, the last line, yesterday's last line. It says Klali shel davar the ratio. Why does the brayso in the ratio say Klali shel davar? To teach us a halacha, shoichatam b'chutz the patur. What case is that? Again, the case of Dushas Damim. The case that the guy had no business making a carbon out of this mum. You have an animal with a mum, he can't make it a carbon. He said it's a carbon. He messed up. So even if you shecht it outside of the Beis Hamikdash, nothing happens to you, right? Okay, bama. But b'chutz, you don't get shchuti chutz. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the sefer, says Rashi. Very interesting. B'ashotna b'chutz, sefer the brayso, says Rashi over here. Akotchim shekotim ekdeisha. We're talking about the really strong case. We're talking about the case. Listen to this, Rabbi Say, unbelievable chiddush. A guy was able to be makdish his carbon and had zero mum. It was a good carbon, and then later on it got a mum, and you went and you shechted that carbon out to the Beis Hamikdash even before you redeemed it. You're not over anything. Why? When over shechting outside the Beis Hamikdash, when you could shecht it inside the Beis Hamikdash, but this carbon has. You're right. It has pure kedusha. Kedusha's haguf, but I'm not over if I shecht it outside of the Beis Hamikdash because this kedusha's haguf doesn't go on the mizbeach anymore. And if it doesn't go on the mizbeach and I shecht it outside of the Beis Hamikdash, I'm not over. It's amazing Rashi. V'ashoichna b'chutz patur, Rav Huna masni chayav. Rav Huna sticks in here and he says, no.
It's not outside Beis Hamikdash. It's an isser of being shoichet
b'chutz.
Bama. Shoichet b'chutz.
Why?
It's bama.
Why are you saying that?
That's what the Gemara said on the dollar.
What does he say here?
Ravuna.
I know what you're talking about. That's
Shvutei
Shvutei
It's the
Chutz.
same thing, but it's the
Yeah.
same Mishnah.
Why are you sticking that
The
sugya
same Mishnah
bama?
is a Shochet Bachutz.
Yeah.
It's a Shochet Bachutz.
I don't think it has anything to do with bama.
It's the same.
I know what you're talking about.
It's the
That was
same
sugya
Shochet
bama.
Bachutz. But that's that Mishnah. It's the two cases, the same two cases, just mum and then kodesh, kodesh and mum. It says Shochet Bachutz is part
And what
of
if somebody
Chayev.
shets bachutz? He's chayiv. I'm asking you. Forget a bama. So if somebody shets bachutz. It might not be. He's not doing a nice thing, and he might be over something, but he's not over shvutei chutz. He's not chayiv misa. Talking about chayiv misa here.
What's the chiddush?
Big chiddush. You have a
That's
kedusha
kedusha.
guf. That's kedusha guf. You have a regular carbon. It just has a mum on it. Its ear got cut, and I take that thing outside and I shove it outside. I'm not over shvutei chutz. Why? Because I can't bring it on the mizbech. It's a big chiddush. I would think anything that has kedusha guf, regardless of its mum or not mum, if I shove that outside, I was over on shvutei chutz. Says Rashi. Look at the pasuk over here. It says. I have to be able to bring it to the oil moed, and this carbon I can. So Rav Huna says an interesting thing. He sticks in. He says, "No, we're talking about that you are chayiv, but in a special case." Rav Huna masni chayiv umoikim lo bedukim shebayim. The cataract, the famous cataract. Since it's not a real geshmak mum, so we have the halachim alu leyerdu. If you take an animal that has a cataract and you put it on the mizbeach, don't take it off the mizbeach. Oh, so if I could put it on the mizbeach and I don't take it off the mizbeach, that's already considered that you could bring it on the mizbeach. You don't bring it lechatchila, but if you put it on, don't take it off. Memela, if this animal has a cataract and you shoved it outside, chayiv, because technically there's a way that I could be makriv it if I did it. But the Yevet, I could keep it on the mizbeach.
Sure.
Now, very interesting. There's a Rashi here. Rashi says dukin, the lashon acher. Dukin over here, he says a different shot than he usually says. But I just thought it's very cute because I made a picture for it. That's why I thought. Rashi says that dukin means the eyelid. He goes like this. He says the eye is a oilam katan, and the upper eyelid is the shamayim. The lower eyelid is the oretz. The white, believe it or not, is Ukianus, the ocean. And the black, he says, is the sun. Is the way the sun goes around the earth. The earth goes around the sun, but whatever. It's Oilam Katan. Look inside here, Sheshlo Mum Bafapayim. Has a mum in its eyelid. The Lachi Kor Lafapayim Doik. Alo Ayin Kirakia. The Lachi Arim is Ria Gudak. Ayin Dor Loilam Katan. Afapayim Kineg Tachtan Kineg the Oretz. The ocean is the whole. It's around the whole world. It's the it's not just chamo. It's the galgal. It's the way, the orbit of the sun.
He's getting a lesson in anatomy. Like that's what his point is.
No, he says the eye is a muscle to the whole. When you look at the eye, when you look at this, you see the whole bria is in here.
Universe.
What?
Huh?
The universe. What does it mean? A mum in an eyelid. It's not this thing. It's not this figure. It's
And a
not
cataract.
Cataract
Oh,
is the same.
what if your ear is cut? How disabling is that?
And if the ear is cut, it's about mum.
Yeah,
Cohen has a
yeah.
ear cancer.
Here, it's one of the mum. I'm saying this mum, we're not talking about treifa. Don't confuse mum with treifa. It's not like he's gonna die from it. It's a mum, about mum.
And it's a visible.
What are these funny mum that Kohanim have? They can't duchen. Something with their feet.
Hunchbacks.
It's not like wow.
I have an extra finger.
Extra finger. There you go. Extra finger. It's not
He has an extra head.
Adarabba. Extra finger is geschmack. You can do a lot more stuff.
Having two
You can
heads.
play piano much better with extra fingers. It's about mum.
Another hand.
Guy with two heads. It's very good. Can't.
Ellie,
Yeah.
the eyelid is
Two headed.
the eyelid,
Right.
not the actual eye.
Right. The first shot is the actual eye. It's a cataract, which is not the actual eye. It's a covering, some sort of film over the eye.
Get off.
That's a shvach mum also, but the eyelid is even shvach. I don't know.
The Rambam said it's a spot on the pupil.
That's mamish bad.
What?
A spot on the pupil,
All
according to the Rambam.
right. I'll leave it at AQ.
But leave it to Rav Kiva, the Omar Alu Yerdu. This goes according to Rav Kiva. We learned in Zvachim, Im Alu Yerdu.
Is it not really?
It's not a real mum.
a real mum.
What are you-
it's a
It's
half
a
a
mum.
mum.
Lechatchila, what are you supposed to do?
No, makrobit. But if the guy,
Lechatchila, what should you do?
I mean, you're actually stuck. It grazes, then you redeem it.
So they get a mum.
So you get a proper mum.
Yeah.
Enough of a mum to redeem it now.
Oh, so I don't know. That's a good shiloh.
redeem it now.
Yeah, probably could redeem it now. Bein lifnei pidyon ben lachet pidyon oiset tmura. We're talking about if he was magdish it, he did it properly, he did everything he was supposed to do, he's magdish an animal, then the animal had a mum. So oiset tmura, right? Halachically, this is kedushas haguf. So if I switch it, or I try to switch this animal with a better animal or a worse animal, they both become kadosh. They both have tmura, regardless if I did this before redemption or after. Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Rabbi Bar Avuha, utmurasoi la'achar pidyornoi meisa. Comes Rav Nachman and says, wait a minute. Even though you do tmura, typically I do tmura, I put it on the mizbeach. It's kadosh. Over here, I do tmura. The second animal has to die. My timer, the same story that we had yesterday. I can't be makrivit because it's a tmura. It's instead of an animal that has a mum. It can only be as good as the original. And I'm saying this, now we have the same story as yesterday. Animal number one has a mum, the Torah says, take it and redeem it. But animal number two doesn't have enough kedusha to redeem it. In order to redeem it, you have to have a level, we learned yesterday, a big chiddush. To redeem, it's not a joke. You can't just redeem anything you want to redeem. You can't redeem chulin. You can't redeem something that doesn't have kedusha. You have to have a lot of kedusha. It doesn't have enough kedusha for a pidyon. Hilkoch, mesa. That's it.
And there's no solution that we
No
had
solution.
yesterday because
It's alive.
Uber.
It's alive. It's
It's
not in the stomach. Maskelo Rav Amram v'titchel b'muma l'baylam. Why don't we just wait until it gets a mum, and you can go eat it? Who's the baylam? Maybe the kohen, because he's supposed to, or the chima bein zul t'muras bechor meiser. What's the difference? We see this halacha by a bechor meiser. Bechor meiser is different than other animals, than other korbanos. The snan t'muras bechor meiser. I have a firstborn animal. I don't like the way it looks. I want to be a tzaddik. I say this animal is very weak. It's too skinny to give to the kohen. I want to give animal number two to the kohen instead. So I say animal number two is my bechor. It's not a firstborn. This has a different halacha than saying that same thing on a shlamim, on a chatos, and something else. Tmuras bechor u'meiser hein uvlodon uvlad vlodon atzof kol ha'olam harein ke bechor u'meiser. Amazing halacha, you can never redeem it. And they have the halacha of a bechor meiser. Yet, what happens is, if I give this is the halacha of the kohen.
You can't do tomorrow.
It works. The tmura works. You should never do tmura, but if you do it, it works. But you cannot redeem it. You have to just wait until it has a mum, and then the owner could eat it, whoever the owner is. In the case of bechor, it's the kohen. So you give it to the kohen, and the kohen can eat it, but it cannot be microwaved. You can never put this on mizbeach. But we have a case that you wait and you have a mum and then you eat it. So I have our animal, which is the tmura of a pidyon animal, mesa, dies. No way out. Amalei Abaya, zeh shem imoy olav, v'zeh shem imoy olav. They're both the same. But what's their name? What kind of halacha do they have? They have the name of the mother. Tmuras bechor u'maiser mikaria. Zeh tmuras bechor u'maiser mikaria. This the tmura has the name, the original name. Ma bechor u'maiser b'mum misachlam v'baylam. Just like the bechor and the maiser themselves. What do you do with it? You can't put it on the mizbeach. So you have to wait until it has a mum. So not a shayla. We're not changing anything. And kachim, you have to redeem. And over here you can't redeem it. We said you can't redeem it. It doesn't have enough kedusha to redeem. You're stuck. Again, so after you, what's Rav Nachman's halacha? That once this thing is kaddish and then it had a mum, and you make a tmura, it has to die.
So what's
Minayin.
the what's the answer? What's the difference?
Because it has the same shem as the original. The
Therefore,
original,
it can't
when
be
you're in
quite
Tamura,
different.
you can't eat it. When you're Bechor, you could eat it. It's like the original Bechor, the regular Bechor, not the Tamura. What do you do with the Bechor? You wait until it has a mum. It's different than all other animals, all other korbanos. This is Reb Nachman's halacha. Tmura of Psula Mikdashim, Mesa. So in this pasuk, when it talks about Tamei animals that don't have simonim, so the pasuk starts off, well, we have animals that have some simonim, like a camel, a pig, a nevis. They have some simonim. So it goes through the simonim. So the Gemara is learning that we have animals that have pure simonim, all the simonim, and there's still treif. What could that be? I mean, when you read the pasuk, the simple Shan pasuk, it has some simonim, one out of the two. Camel has split hooves, but it's not malagayer. But that's not what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is saying, it says, Memalageiro mafrisia parso. You have both. You have both simonim, and it's still tomei hulochem. It's still tomei. What's this special animal? Says the Gemara. The psulei hamikdashim. This pasuk is talking about psulei hamikdashim. You have an animal that you made kaddish as a carbon. Then it had a mum, it had a cataract or whatever, a bad, really bad mum. It had all the simanim. Tomei ulochem. You can't do anything with it. Mamish says the Gemara. Mesa. Mamish can't do anything. Tomei ulochem. It's like a tomei animal. You can never eat it. You can't wait until a mum falls over there or it gets a bigger mum. You can't do anything. Tomei. It's pshutai. It's not your pasha. This is pshutai. Look, it says Memalageiro mafrisia parso.
Pasha is talking about one of
It's not the first time we learned this. This is Zvachim stuff. You had the same question then? No, I don't know. Probably. I don't know. Malagir Tomei says the Gemara. So there's 5 chatois, the famous 5 chatois that died. This is the list. The vlad of a chatos. You have a chatos, and she has a baby, or the tmura of a chatos, or that the owner died. This is the famous chatos shemesu balo. Just stick in the word chatos in front of everything. Chatos. What does it say? Shabra shnasa. It's too old. Chatos. You brought another chatos by mistake. So there's nothing to do with chatos. Bye bye. How do we know this? From this pasuk. This chatos has all the simoni tahara. Tomei lochem. You can't do anything with it.
Just do another there.
No, you're.
Just
It's
wait a little bit.
Freebie.
I think we discussed it actually. It's not a joke we were saying. No, but we said it only goes on the back. You can't go.
There's no.
The Gemara asked, why can't you wait?
Yeah.
That's over here.
We got it.
A smaller there for a small mum. Small mum? Smaller there.
Ta'am Elohim Mala Ger told me everywhere the Chamish Chatois Mesos. Says Gemara, Ahu, Mimafrisa Parasat Tomei Nafko. So Mali Gero, from the red I learn our halacha, Psulei Hamukdashim, and from him, Mafrisi Parasat, I'm going to learn the 5 Chatois. Tainami Achim Menayin L'Chamish Chatois Mesos. Perfect, it fits right in. It says in the Bryce. How do I know the 5 chatois? Not from the red, from the green. Chomish chatois mesos, asked the Gemara, Hilchos Gemiri law. What are you talking about? It's not a pasuk. Why are you saying mafriza parsa? Allah Chamosh Sinai. We heard it in Sinai. Nothing to do with the pasuk. Eloki also kro the tmura soshon. Okay, so maybe, says the Gemara, if I say I owe a carbon. Now this is very tricky. I owe a asham. I did some avera. I brought asham. Now he said, "Oh, by the way, I want my nicer animal to be instead of my asham." So the halacha is Tmura asas nam yichasihi kol shebechatos mesa ba'asham roya. The halacha is yira until it has a mum. The problem is that it cannot really be like the original because the second one I didn't do an avera, and you can't go backwards like we said a second ago. So therefore, the halacha is roya, and then I learned from this word mafrisia parsa. And so chamish chatois is halacha mishum Sinai. What do I do? Mafrisia parsa teaches us this halacha of asham roya. Ela loilam chomish chatois meisois. So at the end of the day, the Gemara says no. There comes mafrisi parsa comes for a chatos, and vitzich kro vitzich hilchasa. So I learned it. Yeah. You're right. Asham, I don't need a pasuk. Kosher chatos meisa basham roya. That is the halacha mishum Sinai. So I don't need the green. Eloilam chomish chatos meisois. The green comes for chatos, but it's halacha mishum Sinai. Vitzich kro vitzich hilchasa. I need both. Nowhere in the pasuk the same mafrisi parsa that it dies. So I would say, okay, you can't eat it, but just wait until it has the moon. So the halacha mishum Sinai tells us the halacha. By mistake, when he did it, it happened that he did it. And he ate from one of these chatois, the vlad of a chatos. Isurika lav leka. Maybe he doesn't get malchus. Kamash malon dikalav. So then the Torah comes along and says, lo yisoichlu. In the beginning of the pasuk, lo yisoichlu, it's a lav. That's why I need green to say the chomish chatois, even though I already know it from halacha mishum Sinai to tell us that there is a lav. But I wouldn't know what the einish is. The einish halacha mishum Sinai is not the einish, but what do you do? What's the solution? Misa. The animal dies. I need this mafrisi parsa to teach us chatos, so that I have a zereshava between the red and the green, between male gera and mafrisi parsa. That what? Mimali gera we said is what comes to teach us tmuras psulim mikdashim. So now I have a zereshava between tmuras psulim mikdashim and what's this? Chomish chatos. The what? Just like chomish chatos, the animal has to die. So too, the animal has to die. Perfect timing. Brand new Mishnah. Says the Mishnah, and that's today's new concept. We're going to start this new thing. Hopefully, every day we have a new musig that we haven't had in many months. Today's new musig is hamikabel tsoim barzel. Maybe we have more than one. Hamakabel tsoim barzel and anochri. If you receive from a goy iron sheep, what's iron sheep? Halachically, iron sheep it's a great investment. It's solid. It's like iron. What do? You tell the guy, you give me your sheep, and I'll pay you back in 10 years. So the guy actually gains. He's locked in. He has a price. He doesn't care if a disease takes over and all the guy's sheep die. In 10 years, the guy has to come up with X amount of money. Rashi says 10 years. 10 years. So, but it's soim barzel for the guy. The guy is in a great position. He's locked in. It's solid. I have a picture of soim barzel halachically. This is it.
How do you say this? What's the concept of it?
Ironclad investment.
Correct.
I don't know. You have a better word.
The concept is that in farming accounting, you've got a problem. When you do an investment and you're buying...
Oh, before you say that, let me just add one thing. That in farming accounting, in this Mishnah, the guy gets to split all offspring. That's part of the deal. I'm going to pay you $100 in 10 years, but don't forget that all the offspring in 10 years from now, we get to split 50-50. Yeah, go weiter. Sorry.
When you're investing, you start off with a herd of animals.
Yeah.
Over the 10 years, that whole herd of animals is going to die. He's not going to survive.
Right.
So his capital would be lost. Right. And if they're splitting 50-50 on all the offspring, it means that the other partner is going to get half his capital. Because all the profits are in the offspring. So what? He is putting the whole herd in.
No, the Jew.
The Jew is not. So the guy wants to protect his capital investment.
That's why he's getting money.
So he locks in the value, the capital value at the beginning, and that is like it's like a loan. It's not a loan. It's an asset, and he gets the security of the offspring in order to cover his.
Very good. All right. We have 15 minutes. That's more than enough for Amud Beis. Usually, Amud Beis are always easier.
Somehow. It's a miracle.
Zog the Gemara, no, it's actually shorter. Look at this.
This is a kablanos then? It's like a kablanos because we're splitting the bladas?
But it's different because I pay you later. I pay you later. The Gemara is going to explain
And the
more. We'll
bladas
see.
I pay now as it comes out? Or
No,
also
no,
the
I think
bladas
it's
in
later.
10
I think it's
years?
later as well. Says the Mishnah, and this is very important. This is a continuation. If you remember, we said that if a guy is a partner in a animal, you are potter from Bechor. The Mishnah said 5 cases of partnership. There's if the Jew sells the Uber to the guy, or if the guy sells the Uber to the Jew, kablonas both ways, meaning you split all the profits, and shutfus. So now it could be the Mishnah is just explaining what shutfus is, or maybe it's adding. This is another form of shutfus. There's a partnership here between the guy and the Jew. How's the partnership? How do you see the partnership? The Gemara is going to explain it better. But basically, I owe the guy money, and the guy has some sort of recourse in the animals, in the offspring. If he doesn't like what's going on, he could come and grab some of the animals. So maybe he's still a partner over here. He's a partner to the point that you're potter from Bechira. V'aluiseyam Turim. Now, very, very important to understand this Mishnah, the whole Gemara. If you just understand this one point, you understand everything. When the Mishnah says, well, the same Turim, it's not that the offspring of the Tzoyim Barzel is potter. It means the offspring is potter, their children, their offspring is potter. You have to always go down one generation. Because Tzoyim Barzel, the original investment is it should say Potter min ha-b'chayra. V'aluiseyim p'tur min ha-b'chayra means the offspring of the first generation here. You have number 1. You have the sheep number 1. That's the first generation. That's nichsei tzayim barzel. They had children. They had offspring. That's number 2. When the Mishnah says v'aluiseyim p'turim, it's not referring to the blue. It's referring to the green. The next generation, the third generation, the grandchildren. Very good. The grandchildren of Potter, they themselves cannot be a Bechar. Why? Since the guy goes to number 2, so number 2 is already not in the parish of Bechar, so its offspring is not a. So we have to always jump down one level, one more than what we think, what the Mishnah says. V'aluiseyim Turim, the grandchildren are not Bechorim. V'ladiseyim Chayovim. But the great grandchildren are Chayav. This Jew decided to be a gentleman. He tells the guy, by the way, if I'm not good with my money, I'm going to guarantee you could come to number 2. He already could go to number 2. So why did he tell them? He added a generation. By saying that, he just added one more level. Because he didn't have to say it. The guy's going to go to 1 and 2 anyways. So why did he stick in? Oh, by the way, I'll give you number 2. He meant to say you could go to the offspring of number 2, which would pater number 4, the great grandchildren. You see why I said we're going to talk about great grandchildren? Yeah. Hemid v'ladiseyim tachazim yiseyim v'ladei v'lodois p'turim v'ladei v'lodois chayov. But the 5th generation is Chayav. Reb Shimon Gamliel oimer afilu ad asor p'turim. Once the guy gets his hands in there, he doesn't start counting and checking each sheep. Is this a great grandchild or just a great grandchild? He could go in there and take whatever he wants. So in Mela, it's 10 generations, 100 generations, no nafkamina. What is Reb Shimon discussing? It's interesting because the Gemara seems later on to say that it's going on the ratio of Reb Shimon. He's not continuing, but we'll see. Why? Because Reb Shimon Gamliel says Shachayusam lanachri. At the end of the day, they all belong to the guy. He could come and take whatever he wants. So Mameli is a partner. If he's a partner, Mazel Tov. That's a chizuk. Dani made a bar mitzvah last night, and he's here today. Gewaldig. Tremendous chizuk for the oil.
Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov.
All right. Zog the Gemara. The bar mitzvah is actually on Shabbos, right?
Yeah.
At Shari Tefillah. 8:10 Shachris. The oil was invited. So the Gemara says the Mishnah, and this week we learned the Mishnah. We discussed this extensively in the first perek. Rachel sheyolda minez. You guys remember this sugya? A sheep gives birth to something that resembles a goat. What is that called? Nidma. So if it resembles something else, Rachel or a goat gives birth to a sheep, Pturim and Bechoros, because it says in the pasuk Oy Bechor Shar that the offspring has to resemble the mother. But if it looks similar to the mother, like the hind legs look similar, the wool looks similar, then you're chayav b'chayra. But if you remember the halacha, you cannot put it on the mizbeach. Still no good for the mizbeach. Fine. Now let's think about this for a second. Nichsei tzoyin barzel, I owe the guy money. Who owns the sheep? The first generation. This nichsei tzoyin barzel, I take a sheep, and I owe you. I owe him $100, and he gets to split the vlados. Who owns the sheep right now?
Goy.
The guy. The guy owns the sheep.
Because you said he could go back.
You're right, l'chara, because otherwise, why is he part from Bechor? That's what Mendy is saying. Mendy is saying the guy owns it. Otherwise, if the guy doesn't own it, there's no shutfus here. So if the guy owns it, then we have a big problem about Metzia. L'meimro, the kivin the leinokat marazuzay, since the guy never got his money, b'shus of the marikayim. Okay, the guy still owns it, and therefore he's shutfus. V'remino, it says in Baba Metzia, a Jew can't do tazah with another Jew because he owes him $100, and at the end of the day, he's going to pay him $100 plus all of the offspring, 50% of all the offspring. So you just paid him $100 plus 50% of the offspring. That's ribbis. You don't have a greater ribbis. What does that Mishnah tell us about Metzia? That who owns it? The Jew. Because if the guy owns it, that's not ribbis. I'm just giving the guy back what's his. Chap.
The Jones.
Nachamol. He said he doesn't understand. Hold on a second.
Who?
A guy. One of the not the smartest guy in the ship.
Yeah.
That's what the Stuchs Noam told me. That's
You do not care. Tell that.
okay. Anyways, he wasn't listening. No, seriously, it's a little complicated. What happened is that one Jew, Reuven, takes Shimon's sheep and tells him, "I'm going to give you $100,000 in 10 years plus $1 million worth of my offspring, because I'm going to have $2 million worth after 10 years. It's going to quadruple, and I'm just going to give you half of that." What is that called? Says the Mishnah, ribbis, because I'm going to give him $100 plus $1 million worth of sheep. But who owns the sheep? If Shimon, if Shimon, the original owner, owns the sheep, keeps on owning it because he never got paid, so it's not ribbis. Reuven is returning to Shimon what is his, what's rightfully his. The reason it's ribbis is because Reuven acquired it, not like Mendy said. The guy that takes the Tzoyin Barzel owns it, and then he gives from whatever he owns 50% back to the original owner. That's ribbis. In our case, with the Jew and a Goy, if the Jew gave the Goy half of his sheep, is that ribbis or not? According to you, that the guy owns it, so there's no ribbis. The guy can take all of it if he wants. He just got 50%. It's a joke. He got half of what he deserves. Why is that ribbis? Elamai, the guy that takes care of the sheep, he's the real owner, even though he didn't pay for it.
That's what it is. You're converting a loan into a
Okay, let's fly here. Alma b'shuz mikabel kamer. Omar Abaya loy kasya. Hold the kabel loy unso bezoylo. Says Abaya, there's a difference in the cases. In our Mishnah, the guy accepted upon himself all losses, bezoylo, and if it goes down in value, he took responsibility. Oh, he takes responsibility. He's a real partner. Memelo yipader b'mechar. Over there, Shimon, the Jew that gave Reuven the sheep, he didn't take upon himself anything. He gets everything. That's a real nichsei tzoyin barzel. Rava. So Rava has three questions here. The Kabbalah lay unse bezoyla tzoyin barzel korsley. What kind of solid investment is this? If it goes down in value and anything dies, you get zero money. That's not tzoyin barzel. Tzoyin barzel means no matter what happens to the sheep, I get my money. Void my Pasco. Yeah, I said over. So you tell me Tzoyin Barzel in Baba Metzia means one thing, and in Bechoros Daf Tezayin it means a completely different thing. In Baba Metzia it means he didn't take upon himself any achrayos. Tzoyin Barzel, the definition in the dictionary in Bechoros means he took upon himself. Hey, you can't do that. Where does it say in the word? It's the same words. There's no difference in the words. My Pasco. Void. Another bomb question. Over there in Baba Metzia, the Mishnah goes along and says, but I'll tell you when you could do ribbis. You know when you can do ribbis? To a guy. There's a much better thing the Mishnah could have said. Boy, the Tony say live like listen to me. The Mishnah should have said, in a Jew, I could give it to a Jew if the Jew took responsibility. Then it's not ribbis anymore because he's a true partner, a heteriska. Live like listen to me. Rava comes up with the whole new pshat. Both cases are the same, so that erases all the questions. Nichsek term Basel means the owner never takes responsibility. He'll get his money no matter what. But by us in our sugya, the reason why it's considered a partnership that's potter from a bechor, if he wants his money, and the Jew doesn't have what to pay him back, will grab an animal. Whether or not he's doing it halachically according to their halachas discussion. But Labaisa, he goes ahead and he grabs the animal, so he's a partner. He'll take the offspring, and therefore his hand is involved over here.
The Jew doesn't do this.
No, it could be a Jew does do it. On his halachas, he goes on by the law. His law says you can do it, or whatever law he's going on. We could ignore what we just read because it's not so negea. It's basically going on the ratio of the Mishnah. Omar Abhuna, Vlada is Pturim, Vlada is saying Chayavim. Ravuna just repeats what we learned in the Mishnah. He says what it says in the Mishnah. Vlada, the third generation is Potter. There's no third generation Bechar, but there's a fourth generation Bechar. Rabbi Yehuda Amar, Vlada is not Pturim. Rabbi Yehuda goes to the fourth generation. Vlada is Chayavim, but the fifth generation, there is a Bechar, it's a complete Kedusha. Tanan, the Gemara has a Bam Kasha Rabbi Yehuda. How could you say, Rabbi Yehuda, that just in general, it goes to the fourth generation? It says Mefurish in the Mishnah, the only time it goes to the fourth generation is when the Jew opened his mouth and he added something. And he said, by the way, I'm going to give you Vlados. So because he added Vlados, so we say he goes to the fourth generation. But if he didn't open his mouth, it doesn't go to the fourth generation. So why did Rabbi Yehuda say that it goes to the fourth generation, that he has to give even the fourth generation? If he himself said, you could have my Vlados, Tachasim Yusayim, Vlados Pturim, then it goes to the fourth generation, even the offspring of the Vlados, the great grandchildren, time of the Hemid. To you to the Rabbi Yehuda, no, the Mishnah says Hemid, but it doesn't mean Hemid. It's coming to tell us a Chiddush. Basically, what Rabbi Yehuda is saying is a very nice thing. He's saying, I would think that if a person opens his mouth, then he opened the doors to all generations. Because he opened his mouth, he said, you know what, take my offspring. Offspring means 10 generations. Says Rabbi Yehuda, opening your mouth is just like, but Rav Huna says very, very minimal. He's saying the first two generations. So once Reb Shimon Gamliel adds to that, everybody would understand that he adds and he adds forever. Rav Huna, I know, you could probably say that's not so pashut and what's the difference, and fine. Rav Huna, Reb Shimon Gamliel, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel is not even talking about that part of the Mishnah. It's like we actually read it. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, we're talking about already the third generation. Hamid means a person opened his mouth and told the guy, I'm giving you the Vlades, meaning he's talking about the third generation. If Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says fourth, then it's already past that. In other words, Rav Huna is no different than Rav Yehuda. They're both talking about the third and fourth generation, and Memela, he had explained, I mean even 10, not just 5 versus 4, I mean 10 versus 10 and Loyal and Vayl, right? If I'm stuck over here in the beginning, so once you say the third generation, it means forever. But I'm not stuck here. I'm stuck over here according to Rav Huna, because I'm talking about Hamid. Hamid is the next case. We were talking about the third generation. Memela, Rav Shimon Gamliel had explained. It's a shame that we can't finish, but okay, we'll just finish on Motzei Shabbos.
What time is Motzei Shabbos?
9:15, no? 9:15 Motzei Shabbos.